my teeth in. So we made it another week.
Woo.
I know, I'm excited. Okay, so thank you for letting me work with you.
You're welcome.
And thank you for recording a lesson. I went back and I watched it, and I was actually really intrigued with your lesson, but I was curious as to what had you done up until the point where you recorded, because I noticed that they all had essays already in front of them, and you were like reviewing it. So what happened before that lesson, just to set the stage?
Well, it started with, anytime they're learning a new concept or we're about to get into a new story, I make sure they have notes that give them the pertinent information, whether it's essay elements or like background information that they need for a story. So they already had copies of notes they had taken that explained to them each of the 7 essay elements we were focusing on, and just what they were. So they had those notes in front of them, and then they had, just so I could gauge their understanding of these things before I taught, because the freshmen, I don't know what they're teaching them in middle school. I gave them this sample essay so they could use their notes, use what they learned about the essay elements, and see if they could identify those elements in the essay. So this sample one they had in front of them, I had already clearly labeled each of those elements in the intro paragraph and in the first body paragraph, just as like a model, as an example for them. And then what they had to do and what they had in front of them, they had gone throughout the rest of the essay using their notes and the already labeled parts, and they labeled all of those elements throughout the rest of the essay too.
Okay.
So that's what they had in front of them, and that's what they kind of worked off of as I did that direct instruction, really teaching them what those elements.
So they had attempted it, and you were kind of going over it together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, for the entire lesson, not just that direct instruction, but like the whole class that you recorded, with 1 being the worst and 10 being the best lesson you've ever taught, how would you rate that particular lesson?
I think a 6.
A 6? Okay.
Yeah.
Why would you say a 6?
Well, I pushed it above the midway point because they're actually writing their essays now, and they're okay. So anyway, I gave a 6, pushed it past that midway because they're writing their essays right now, and half the class, and it's a small class of like 20, I think.
Okay.
A little more than half of them are doing really, really well.
Okay, so they
Like,
were receptive to it and they like learned.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Okay.
And because they are in their rough drafts, they're hitting those elements, they're doing them correctly for the most part, and I've never seen that before.
Okay.
But I didn't give it anything higher because, I feel like it could be more engaging because it was a lot of just direct instruction, the first half of it.
Yeah.
Them just sitting there, and they responded. I'd call on them, I let them volunteer, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It just,
I saw that participation though, so they were, engaged, but you just wanted to be a little bit more hands-on, a little bit more interactive is what I'm hearing, I think? Okay. What pleased you about this lesson though? So I know you've already identified things that you can work on, but like, what were things that you liked about it? What went well?
well, for me, I guess personally, I think it's the best job I've ever done of just explaining these elements, because teaching writing is hard. So I finally kind of figured out a way that works for me to explain the elements. I did like that they participated, whether I called on them or they volunteered answers, they all participated and tried. So I liked that, and I do like the little competition aspect of it that I do at the end, and I think that gets them a little more engaged in it if they're having to do it just with a partner and kind of work through it by themselves. It's like that immediate reinforcement of, oh, I just learned about this, let me see what I can do now.
Yeah, I always like doing like competition style assessments in the class because like working with a partner is good, but that competition gives them that motivation to apply what you just went over. So I know you actually sent me a little segment from both days your A through K and your L through Z.
Yeah.
How would you compare the two classes to each other? Do you feel that there was one day that was better than the other, or do you think both sides were as receptive as the other?
It's funny because during the direct instruction, just me up there talking to them, getting them to answer, both of them I would say were the same.
Okay.
They were both engaged, they were receptive, they were doing well for the most part of giving correct answers, or at least working their way toward correct answers. But the competition part, the A through K group did really well on.
Okay.
They were into it, they tried, they were getting it for the most part. No one got the whole thing right the first time, but they were able to go back. But the L through Z group, there was a good half of that group that they just weren't engaged. Like they weren't putting any effort into it.
Okay.
And I know they could have done well based on their answers during direct instruction.
Okay.
They just weren't trying on their own.
Why do you think that might be?
I think maybe for them at least, maybe they just needed a little bit more than just labeling stuff on paper.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe it just needed to be a little more interactive, maybe a different incentive besides like, hey, you'll get a piece of candy or something.
Okay. So make the competition stakes a little higher.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said that you rated a 6, and I assume it's because you feel they could be a little bit more engaged or a little bit more motivated. What would have to change, do you think, to get that 6 to a 10?
I think I want it to just be a little more interactive. Like, I don't know, maybe allow them to move around a little bit more, or do something that's not just paper.
Okay. Have you thought about what elements you could bring into this lesson that would make it not just paper and sedentary?
I've thought about some ideas, but I don't know if they're good. I'm not very technologically inclined.
Well, let's
So-
spitball some ideas. What were you thinking? What things have you come up with?
I mean, I thought maybe if I uploaded the actual Word document to their Canvas or something, and they open it up, and then they could, I'd have like the color code on the board, like what we used when we color coded it as a class, and just have them change the colors of the words themselves.
Okay. Oh, the second essay or the first essay?
The second one.
Okay.
Second one. Maybe something like that, and then the first one to submit it, and get it right, or.
Is that something that you would want to do as an in-class lesson, or is that something that you'd want them to do at home on their digital day?
In class.
In class,
So
because you
just
want it to
a-
be that competition?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I think if it weren't for that competition part, they wouldn't have
They would have done it.
cared as much.
Okay.
It would have just been like busy work for them.
Yeah, that's true. So you've thought about maybe uploading it to Canvas. Have you thought about any other types of websites or tech tools that you could use in a class setting to promote this type of competition with this type of assessment?
Honestly, I mean, not really, because I know of things, I just have no idea how would you do, or how I would do this kind of thing. Like a competition where they upload,
Okay.
I don't know how I would get them to do that on a different platform.
Well, what about, have you heard of Flipgrid?
I've heard of it, but I don't.
Okay, well,
I'm not
actually, fun
familiar.
fact, next Friday in professional development, one of the optional sessions is a Flipgrid training.
Yes.
So, I highly encourage you to check that out. But Flipgrid is a cool little site. I don't know, maybe instead of just having them, like you said, just labeling it on paper, because it seems like you do want them being a little bit more active in your class. I feel like that's what you want that change to look like to get that 6 to a 10. So Flipgrid, instead of having them just identify on paper, maybe they start that way, but then have them record themselves discussing what they labeled, why they labeled it the way they did, and how they came to that conclusion. That way, they're going to be able to record themselves, use technology, but then it's not just them writing it on paper, they have to verbally explain.
I like that.
And then you could still make it a competition in a way. You could do whoever uploads it first, or you can have the class vote on the best.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like that. So, we could look at them as they come in as a class, and then the class, if there are any mistakes, be like, oh, wait, no.
Or maybe they could post it on the discussion board.
Oh, yeah, on Canvas.
On Canvas.
And then
they watch each other's and give feedback.
I like that.
Oh, that's it. You look at you. Okay, wait. So discussion board. I'm gonna write that down.
I do like the discussion board
aspect
of Canvas.
So upload a video or something.
Or
Or they could upload like a screenshot of their like color coded one if you wanted to stick with that. If you didn't want to do too much at once.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one way we can get them involved. Did you see the email that Lauk actually sent out today?
No.
I don't know. Well, maybe she only sent it to senior teachers. Did she?
Oh, is it about the how to generate?
No.
No, then no, I don't have anything from Loud.
What?
Unless is this no.
Let me see. I'll forward it to you. Maybe she did only send it to, or maybe she sent it to sophomore teachers. Cause Sharilla was talking to me about it. Oh, just kidding. She only sent it to me. My bad. I'm gonna forward it to you though.
Okay.
So it's coming in now. Sharilla was talking to me about it at lunch today because we take our kids to lunch at the same time. And so what she's doing with her seniors right now, it's called like a book snap.
Oh, that's cool.
And so what she's having her kids do, because they're reading 1984, I guess they're taking a picture of like their page on Snapchat. And I don't know if they're identifying a quote that supports an answer that they just answered, or if they're picking a quote and explaining it or something, but they're able to take a picture of it on Snapchat and use the text tool to write their whatever explanation they're trying to, whatever the goal is, she didn't explain that. But maybe you could use that same idea with this essay, and they could take a picture of each paragraph or something, and using the text feature and the drawing feature on Snapchat, label the different elements.
Oh, that's cool.
And screenshot them and submit them either to Canvas, or are you familiar with Google Forms?
Kind of.
They can, there's a setting on Google Forms that you can alter to allow them to upload pictures, so it could still be a competition because you can see what time they submit those, and it's like, its submissions are in order.
So whoever does it first.
That's
cool.
And then you can like send back if they need to make corrections. Do you want to try and play with it right now?
Sure.
So, pull up some Google Forms.
Okay.
6 feet.
Personal?
Yes. So go ahead and create one. So you could just like title it essay elements, and then you can even like do separate sections. You can do like paragraph 1, or like introduction, paragraph 1,
That'd be cool.
body 1. And then if you hit that drop down where it says multiple choice, go to where it says file upload, and then that's that.
Okay.
Yeah, hey.
Right?
Yep, perfect. And then go to where it says allow only specific file types, and that way you can monitor kind of what they're submitting. So if you only want them to upload images, you don't want anything else, you can kind of edit how you want them to.
Yeah.
And so if you want just one picture, so they have to do the entire paragraph in one image, you would do one. But if you want them to have the option to maybe identify the 3 or 4 different elements in each picture, or in each paragraph, you can make it multiple pictures for one.
Yeah, that's
So
cool.
then what you can do is to like duplicate that. So like if you wanted to break it down by that's the introduction paragraph, you see the 2 little squares by the trash can?
Yeah.
Click that. And it creates a literal like dupe if you scroll down.
Oh.
Wait. Oh wait, no, that is the one. Scroll up. Can I see your mouse really
Oh
quick?
yeah,
I'm sorry.
sorry.
Yeah, you're good. That's the first question. It just minimizes.
Oh, okay,
And that's
yeah.
the second one. So then you could change the label on
Gotcha.
that to like body paragraph 1. And so to test this, what we can do is, you know how to get the link, you know how to link a Google form.
Send.
Yep.
And then this.
Yes, ma'am. And then we can test it really quick. Make sure that's working.
Oh, I didn't add a file, but it.
Yeah, it's working. So
Yeah, it
you
works.
can like upload a picture to that. So you would select. So they could either email themselves the pictures and then save it to like the laptop at school.
Yeah. There we go.
And then yeah, and then they would submit. Go back to the hit submit.
There we go.
And then there it is. And you can
Boom.
see their images or like their snaps of the
Yeah.
explanation. So maybe that's one way that, you know, they might see it as a little bit more entertaining if they're able to
Yeah,
use
Snapchat.
Snapchat. Right, exactly. Because I swear my kids, I don't even think they text anymore. I think they just text each other on Snapchat.
I've had kids say they just do Snapchat.
Like, I don't understand. But maybe that way they'll get really into it. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, you'd obviously have to monitor to make sure they're not getting too off task.
Yeah.
But that could be fun.
I do like that. I should even assign each group. I could even assign if it's a class big enough, since it's a partner activity.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 sets of partners do the intro, 2 do the first, and then have a competition between those. And then maybe once they're all uploaded and we look at them as a class and they know what corrections they need to make, maybe once all of them are correctly labeled, we could make like a snap story.
Yes.
And put all the intros and then I'll like print them out, all the intros, all the first body paragraph, all the second, and
Have
like
it almost like an anchor chart.
Yeah.
That is actually a really good idea.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. And then even you could push it even a little further. So once you have all that, I love the idea of printing them. Maybe having them go back and like orally explain and make it an actual video of some sort where they're like zooming into something saying like that's the transition, that's the whatever, and have that actual story combine everybody's and post it on campus
That's cool.
as like a resource.
I do like that.
I don't know.
That'd be awesome.
That's pretty cool. I like that. I might steal that idea from
Okay.
my class. So I think that's all I got for you.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank
Lot of
you.
good ideas.
I appreciate your time.
No problem.
And I'm sorry you actually took time away from your work right now. I appreciate you giving me your time.
It's okay. This helps.
Yeah.
So now, next semester when I do this, I'm gonna try all this.
Yeah, I want to see this in action actually. Like genuinely, I want to see this, and I
Yeah.
might steal it for my sophomores.
I think it'd be fun.